Folks! Best echo ever. The rumors are true. I sent out a message about 48 hours ago to the thousands of patrons regarding my purchase of a card grading company called Premier Card Grading USA, also known as PCG, which has been around for a couple years, I think 3 or 4 years now publicly. They have grading operations in New Zealand, Australia, the United States, and of course they're up and running, almost ready to launch, if not, I think it might be launched by the time you watch this video, in Europe and Germany. Today we're going to go over the details. I was planning on waiting a couple weeks to make this video, but you know how social media and the internet is. Patrons take screenshots of the posts, things spread very, very quickly, and questions and insane amounts of, orders, questions, and conversation has been stirring. So I figured, well, we better go ahead and make this video, get it released, to go through the details, what the plans are, why am I risking my name with a card grading company, and what do we plan to actually do moving forward. And of course, everybody knows Rudy is a hardcore PSA guy. I've been grading in one of the original people ever to grade Magic the Gathering cards with PSA, Professional Sports Authenticators, starting in 2005, which was I believe 2004, 2005 was the very first year that PSA even ever graded Magic the Gathering cards, is when I first started doing that, to give you an idea. So today we're going to go through details of all this stuff, go through some of the, controversial things, address everything that you want to know from Rudy. What's to stop you from being a scammer, drifter, and manipulating the grades? Rudy, I thought Channel Fireball Card Shop Live was the ones partnering to help do this in the United States and Las Vegas. Rudy, what's to stop you from grading yourself a perfect 10? Look at my hair. Do I look like a perfect 10? I mean, really? He may be a perfect 10, and these young ladies may be a perfect 10. I am nowhere near a perfect 10. So we're going to have a conversation on all the details and what the plans are and why I made the decision. Sit back, relax, and some of this stuff might not be what you expected, which is why we're making the video, to get ahead of all the rumors and most likely all the bizarre things that people are going to make up on the internet. So first of all, Premier Card Grading, been around for a couple years, mostly, like I said, New Zealand, Australia. The original owners of the company came from the New Zealand, Australia region, where they kind of started and expanded, similar to Flesh and Blood. Small world, right? They have expanded then. Obviously, the United States is the biggest market for graded cards on the planet Earth. And, well, originally in the boom of 2020, 2021, similar to many things, MetaZoo, Flesh and Blood, and many Kickstarter games that, CCGs that came to market, Channel Fireball partnered, just like I did, with many of these up-and-coming companies to help bring them to markets in the United States. Unfortunately, the Channel Fireball Card Shop Live, as we've left that booming, easy, 10D, free money to the moon, money machine, go burr, blah, blah, blah era, and we are back to the hard mode, and easy money is long gone. We're back to all of us are selling and buying sealed product and cards that either stay flat or go down in price. Easy mode is just in our rearview mirror, and we miss it. So unfortunately, the Channel Fireball Card Shop Live situation just did not really work out. There was just maybe the standards, maybe conflict of interest. I don't know the details of some of the conversations because it didn't work out. I'm not here to do what most of you want me to do, which is bash Channel Fireball and say F them, this and that. So we're not going to be going on that path because there's no real point. But Channel Fireball and Card Shop Live, who were having the facility for grading in Las Vegas, Nevada, or Henderson, Nevada, around in Nevada, they were the ones who had and were managing the facility for PCG in the United States. That facility has been shut down. Everything has been loaded up on pallets and freight shipped all the way to North Florida, near me, not exactly at me, into St. John's, Florida, which is right next to Jacksonville. So first, we're going to get the big one out of the way. No, Rudy will not be grading your cards. No, you cannot request Rudy to grade your cards. No, you cannot send your stepsister You cannot send your stepmom over here. You cannot bribe me with Taco Bell or your stepsister to grade your cards. Rudy will not grade, will not take bribes. You cannot get Rudy to handpick and grade your cards. You could be a $100 a month patron for 7 years. You can be the original patron. I am not going to grade your cards. You cannot request it. And I think you're going to be very disappointed to understand how, I'm not going to say strict, but how accurate and detailed PCG grading is. Okay? And that's where we're going to bring it to the next conversation. Okay? The point of all this is to have accurate grading that is consistent. If you break the slab and you grade it 5 times, the grade should come back almost identical or completely identical every single time if the correct details and rules are actually followed. Okay? I love PSA. I've never been a big fan of Beckett, and I'm not here to bash other companies. CGC does a great job of grading comic books. I said CGC does a great job at grading comic books. Big fan of their comic book grading. Okay? PSA doesn't really do subgrades. Beckett does. CGC, I believe, do. I'm not really sure. I think they just spin a twister mat or a wheel. All of PCG cards in the United States, when it was under the operation of Channel Fireball Card Shop Live, were graded with the option of like subgrades and with the option of a metal engraved label by a laser to be up as an upgraded option. Under the Florida facility, all grades and all cards done have subgrades included in the price. I know what you're asking. It's $19.95. And no, you do not have to pay $100 or $500 a card if the declared value is above a certain range. No, you will not get an email for surprise fees and upcharges, which brings me to the next point. One of the biggest letdowns, and the reason I haven't graded with Beckett or PSA, well, obviously the wait times and disaster of 2020-21, but pre-2021 everything, once PSA transferred over into a grading model where the fees and declarations was just incredibly profitable for them to, oh, your $100 card just graded a 9.5 or it's a 10, so it's worth $1,000. You now owe us triple the price. That's happened to a lot of people. And I don't agree with the concept that the price should swing how much the customer has to pay based on if you send a good card or not. I mean, if you're sending a $500,000 Alpha 10 Lotus, obviously you're going to want to reach out to the company or send me an email and I'll put you in contact. And, you know, we probably need to take some extra care if you're dealing with, you know, 100,000, $500,000 or $1 million plus. We can take into some special circumstances, which brings me to the next thing. No, at this time, we are not allowing walk-in drop-off services like they did in Las Vegas or Henderson, Nevada. My goal is safety and security. Security is number one. The facility, motion sensor cameras, high security. The location has armed, yes, firearmed security, firearm armed people. It is secure location that you cannot walk in and be like, hey, I'm here with my... I was going to say Evolving Wilds is the meme. You know who you are out there. Now, the security aspect is number one. Number two, the people who come and go, the safety aspect of someone following, knowing they have something or where they are, we're not doing that. Now, in the future, if it goes the way I think it's going to go, I would like to open a separate retail store grading location. That is an option we can do where people can walk in and actually have a public separate location outside the facility for like maybe a 1 or 3 day express type service or a special white glove service, something that also keeps the security but also allows you that, you know, one-on-one for normal situations. So, interesting. Now, obviously, we go back to pricing. So, PCG has a simple pricing model, okay? You want a card authenticated? $12.95, I don't care how many cards. You want your card graded? $19.95, 1 to 49 cards. You have over 50 cards and you want a bulk order, congratulations. You get 25% off the order. You go from $19.95 to $14.95 a card. And of course, here we go. All the patrons, as you're already aware, my job is to blend a grading company as similar to Amazon adds additional benefits and perks and services to Amazon Prime. What I am doing is I am continuing to add additional benefits for the people who are already supporting me, like what I do, and think that important conversation and transparency is something that we really need more of in this modern era. So I am continuing to add additional layers of benefits to the patrons. For example, to celebrate doing this and this announcement, from now to the end of the month, literally, if you're a patron, you log in, you're a supporter, guess what? You have a coupon code, and I can tell you what it is, doesn't matter, because again, your name will be scanned against the list, and congratulations, you get 20% off your order kind of thing. So if if you're sending in 20 cards, guess what? You're getting 4 cards graded for free. And so I know some people, I've already probably had 30, 40 messages saying, hang on, Rudy. So if I'm a patron for $15 a month for a year, so that's like $150 to, $175 or $200. Wait a minute, if I just send in like 20, 30 cards, the discount alone, yes, that is the point. Now, not everyone's gonna use it, but it's an option for people. The average order size for card grading is between 5 and 15 cards. Most people do not want to send in 50 and 100 card orders that cost thousands of dollars. It's a huge grading, it's a huge undertaking. The average order size is 5 to 15 cards. So for the average person, the average patron, getting discounts and getting direct connection and support. If you have a question, you can directly email me through Patreon. I respond to every single patron. It's a really good benefit, and I think it's a good fit. And a friendly reminder, no, you cannot request me to grade your cards. No, you cannot send me a Taco Bell. Well, you can send me a Taco Bell gift card, but I'm still not going to grade your cards. The grading takes place in the grading room with multiple graders under almost like a dark room with literally no lighting, blacked out windows under a harsh, bright daylight, white simulated light, okay? Once the grading and imperfections are logged and the graders come up with the grades and subgrades and overall grade, it then comes out to a checkpoint station where another individual has to regrade and check the grades that the grader assigned under now warm yellow lighting. So now we are using a more softer, nicer lighting to recheck to see if the grades were too harsh and they're not even noticeable, or to see if something was missed, so both forms of lighting are used. Now, once it passes those and the checkpoint person agrees with the graders, then it heads over to manufacturing, etching, laser, blah, blah, blah. And at that point, depending on your grade, if you're a 9 or below, you get a metal black label engraved, and it's got a nice, beautiful silver to it, which you guys can see the website. I don't need to hold it up or anything. And if your grade is a 9 or below, you get a beautiful black metal laser engraved label. If it's a 9.5, you get yourself a beautiful black metal engraved with gold label. Okay? If you have a pristine, for the very few of you that'll ever see it, I think just the time I've been watching the graders and doing it, I think I've seen a couple hundred cards graded. I haven't even seen a pristine, perfect all 10s. I've seen some close. I've seen a bunch of 9.5s and 9.5s with a subgrade 10, but perfection under those different lightings and passing through, it's tough. And no, guess what? A lot of you all are gonna dislike me, because guess what? Your grades, you're gonna send me a nasty email. Rudy, I sent in an order to PCG. This card was perfect. I opened it literally in the drive-thru with gloves, and you get in, not you, but your grader, your company gave me a 9. It was packed fresh. Well, let me give you some bad news, Buttercup. Most people don't fully understand how the grading and the details work. So let me give you some breakdowns. The average card out of a booster pack grades between an 8.5 and a 9.5. If it's an old Magic card, it's great. It could grade an 8. I've seen old Magic cards, alpha, beta of a pack, grade in the 7s. People don't understand. If a card is pristine, that means under both lighting conditions, you follow the border of the card, there's not a single nick, little flake, a chip. There's no flared up edges like crazy. The corners don't have dings and imperfections. Oh wait, there's one little imperfection. You're still in a 9.5. But yes, that is logged. And not only that, we have records that, guess what? This grade is wrong. We keep records that if something dramatic happens, the grader marks on paper and is stored, that we know where they identify the errors. Many people get upset because they think their card is undergraded. And the problem is they just don't know where the imperfection is, which is why subgrades, a lot of people disagree with, are important. Because a card may look beautiful with eye appeal at a 10. And you're looking at it and says, why is this a 9? And guess what? Under different lighting conditions, there could be roller lines across it. Okay, there could be different print lines vertically or horizontally. I've seen it. I've seen it. You could have, I've seen people say, Rudy, why is this centering a 9? It's perfectly centered. It could be twisted. It could be centered at the top and the bottom. It could be angled. I've seen so many things. So usually it's individuals aren't familiar with how strict and how detailed and consistent grading is, which is why most people think this card looks perfect and it graded a 9 or 9.5, stuff like that. So I wanted to get into that. So yes, moving forward, let's go into some other things. Like I said, every card, metal labels. I've shut down completely. Regular paper labels, all the old PCG cards that were slabbed that have paper labels, that's it. We don't do that. It's done. It is only lasers and engraving. There are no paper labels. There is no little thin floppy thing in there. That ain't happening. We're not doing that. It's over with. Yes, they all have subgrades. Yes, for those of you waiting, Flesh and Blood, the Fab Slab. The Fab Slab is coming. What is a Fab Slab? In the game of Flesh and Blood, you have some gear and cold foil and heroes, different things that you start the game on the board. It starts in the board state. Therefore, you can technically play with your graded cards. The Fab Slab is a Flesh and Blood engineered slab that's, I guess, more fitting and efficient and smaller to fit and kind of be more, I don't know, space effective and better. And it's a custom slab that's almost available for grading. That's a specialty thing, since Premier Card Grading works with Flesh and Blood directly. It gives kind of the official, direct promotion, sponsor, whatever wording you want to use with Flesh and Blood. And they have special the Fab Slab thing coming. Now, other people are going to ask me, Rudy, what about like when you have your cold foil exclusives and different things, are you going to grade like the entire 1,000 card print run and then just give everyone a slabbed card in a Rudy kit? That is something that we have discussed. We won't be able to do it with the Bright Light launch coming in a couple weeks, because simply put, with the orders coming in and this announcement on the website, we are not going to be able to grade just over 1,000 diamond hand cold foil exclusive Rudy cards and get them into the kits and in you all's hands and have it release on time. There's just no way. Unfortunately, I didn't want to make this video. I want to give more time for the orders and things, because there's always a spike when you do this stuff. So we have discussed if there's a MetaZoo Rudy promo. Rudy, are you just going to grade all 1,500 copies and give every patron a graded card? These are things we have discussed. I don't have an official answer this time. There's pros and cons to both. It's nice because a lot of people like that, and it will prevent all damage of the card in transit or getting chipped, or if something happens, if it gets wet from the post office, if it gets bent, it prevents all of that. It's slabbed and ready to go, baby. The other option is some people could feel that it may not be fair, or they could think tinfoil hat that Rudy's only giving certain patrons the 9.5 versus the 9.5 quad. It gets a little funky and messy, which is the downside of that, which is why we haven't made a decision on that. It is an interesting direction though, and it's very interesting. So yes, also with Sorcery. Sorcery is coming out in the next 30-45 days. We are in direct conversation and partnering with Sorcery, and Eric, the owner and creator of Sorcery, is interested and wants to have a special PCG style metal label or with a logo or something special. He is very particular on that stuff, and I'm kind of waiting for him to come up with some ideas. He's got some couple different ideas. He likes things a certain way that really, he's not a fan of grading in general, which, remember, not every card should be graded. Many cards have no business being graded. There's a time and a place where grading is important, and there are other cards and eras and set that there's no point in grading. So anyway, Sorcery does not usually a fan of overall grading unless it really adds or extends something special to the card, or really looks or feels the fit and kind of walks the walk kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see what he comes up with and wants specifically done. Same thing with MetaZoo. We are going to have like a special MetaZoo card. I'm thinking like a really cool MetaZoo, actually like a slab, like the card looks like a slab or something with MetaZoo, something really unique is in the works. That'll be pretty fun to do. Another thing, patrons, you all watching, viewers, I think the key to success in really trying to do this also is we want to have affiliates, partners, and discounts for stores. LGSs, I know if this was Wizards of the Coast, Wizards would say, hey, you in the back, you in a store, right? Are you still in business? Aren't you supposed to be bankrupt by now? Hey, didn't we get rid of that store with Commander Masters? No Boulder's Gate? No Wilds of Jordan? No, wait, Aftermath? Did we get rid of that? No. Okay, so when it comes to PCG, the idea is the original concept of an LGS is that those stores go to bat and they help you. They are your marketers, they are your assistants, they are your partners. Those are the people that you need to work with, respect, and help them make money and help get them access to prices and discounts. So again, a lot of LGSs and stores out there. If you plan on grading, again, 50 to 100 plus cards, yes, that is something you need to contact info@premiercardgrading.com. Or again, if you're a patron, you can give me a heads up and I'll forward it for you. Again, let us know. We will work with you. We will get you your own coupon code. We want you to have cases in your store of PCG cards and slabs, and we will give you different rates and you need to work with us and we need to make it happen. Okay? So I'm making that very clear out there. So obviously, let's go into some details here as far as what do you grade. Now, there's already a population report database. PCG has already graded over 50,000 cards. Obviously, cards like Weiss and Bushy Road cards always grade really well because they're good quality printed cards. Magic cards and vintage Magic and Flesh and Blood cold foils tend to grade rougher, Pokemon rougher, because a lot of the cards have chips and dings or scratches and roller lines and things that people say, it's my card's perfect. Why did I get a 9 or 9.5? Well, then obviously the grader, if it's a 9.5, they found 1 or 2 tiny little imperfections that most people wouldn't notice. If you're at a 9, clearly they found more than one little thing wrong in that category, and unfortunately couldn't give you the 10, bro. Sorry to hear that. There's nothing, it's just that is how it works. The point of all this is we need to break the concept that I hope when I submit my cards to Beckett, I hope the grader's having a good day and I get 9 5s and 10s and not 8s. When I submit my cards to CGC, I hope they don't send back a comic book. No, I'm kidding. Don't sue me, bro. And it's one of those things where we need a standard. If it has an imperfection, it moves on the scale. Is it a deep roller line? It moves this many points. We need a specific set of rules so you understand why the grade is that way. That is the point. And I hope that makes sense. Unfortunately, a lot of people won't like that because they think everything they own is perfect 10s, and then, Chuck Norris just slaps them in the face and, takes their wife's boyfriend to dinner. It doesn't work out good. Future. Personally, I'm a huge fan. I want to grade sealed booster boxes. I want graded Alpha Welcome to Wraith boxes. I want graded and sealed and slabbed Magic the Gathering Legends Revised Antiquities boxes. I want to do that one day. PCG wants to move and also expand into the sports card grading world in the next 12 to 24 months also, going into 2024, 2025. These are things for expansion that if it goes well and does take that approach, we will expand the Florida location and probably get a second location for sports grading and then probably a retail for drop-off and handling if we get to that kind of size of business. So that is the most important stuff on there. Like I said, to sum everything up, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Keep in mind, another thing we want to deal with is like when these events take place, like a Flesh and Blood World, like a Pro Tour, Invitational, a World, we want to have a PCG booth with slabbed cards from corner to corner. And of course, you can get kind of not fully slabbed cards on site, but you can get kind of the guaranteed minimum grade type of kind of mini and a top loader type grading. We want to have that kind of stuff. And that is something that we want to do and kind of move forward with, hopefully in the next few months, where we have that at locations. I don't know if it's just, Flesh and Blood location events, Magic the Gathering location events. I want a booth that has more slabs than you've ever seen in your life. Like you walk up and you're going, look at the amount of plastic and metal and engravings on this table. Like that's what I would like it to be. So, I think I have everything. Important takeaways from this video. PCG's been around a few years. The United States operations facility is now in Florida, and I own 69% of the operations, okay? Yes, 69%. The company was not happy, and that went back and forth in negotiation for months. Originally, they said, we'll give you 51% of control, but I honestly, I just thought literally making the video and putting the title saying 69%, I thought that alone was it just makes me happy, and life's too short to not be happy. And also, in the future, that provides me buffer and leeway if there's expansion, other partners, investors, or changes, or other things that need to take place or be brought on board. That also gives me the ability where I have additional or excess ownership in the operation that I can, transfer, sell, or expand with some percentage of ownership and still maintain 51% control of the operation. For those of you in the business and acquisitions and selling and mergers and all this crap, you would understand what I'm talking about. I think that is about everything. I just want to lay this out there. That is the point of everything. And I appreciate you all for listening. That's what's the goal and the game plan. That is the timeline. I did it because, once again, I think I can make it work. And I want to go after the big guys. And we've only graded around 50,000 plus cards. PSA and Beckett have graded millions. And I think they're cocky. I think they're sloppy. And I think they think they're too big to fail. And I think they are so big with so many layers of management. I think they've lost sight. And I think it's very right for someone to move into this space. Now, obviously, I'm not at a point in my life where I am a billionaire. Hopefully, one day, I will be a billionaire and I will buy Hasbro. But at this point in time, I'm nowhere near there. Unfortunately, it'd probably take me 200 years of working in wealth, savings, and investing to be able to purchase Hasbro one day and clean house and take all the employees that work their ass off and promote them. But I don't have that kind of wealth, and I don't know if I'll be around long enough to work 200 years, unless I guess my head can be in one of those jars like Futurama. All right, folks, we're all over the place. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. I'm sure some people are going to use this as leverage and say, they hate PCG or they hate Rudy or this and that. My job is to disclose everything with you. And it's the first time that I actually have ownership, and I've made a move like this. Looking back, I probably should have taken ownership and made a move in flesh and blood, because I would have made a ton of money, and I probably should have done that. Same thing with probably these other card games like MetaZoo and some of these startups. I probably should have taken ownership in the company and to have equity, but this is the first time I've done it, and legally, because I actually do have ownership, I have to legally disclose it, and that's where we are. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a beautiful day, and I think it's going to be a fun ride. And I think some things that we don't expect to happen are going to happen, and I'm sure I'll make some mistakes along the way. I'm sure somebody somewhere out there will get some card with a typo or an error, and they're going to put a front page post on the MySpace, and they're going to attack me and come after me. That's what makes life worth living. Thank you for listening, folks. Have a beautiful day. I can't reach the camera.